Unless you haven't been paying attention to the regular season, you'll know that DeMar DeRozan is on an absolute tear. The four-time All-Star has silenced his critics this season and is having a phenomenal start to his Bulls career. Now, in some alternate universe, he'd be having this amazing season rocking the purple and gold. Even DeRozan himself was convinced he was going to LA at one point. This is what he said, and I quote, "I felt like going to the Lakers was a done deal, that we were going to figure it out. I was going to go home. The business side of things just didn't work out. A couple of things didn't align, it didn't work out. It's just part of the business, part of the game. My next option was definitely Chicago. So looking back, it worked out well." Not for Laker fans. Considering LA's status as a prime destination, the Lakers have had success in bringing in a lot of talent over the years. Shaq, Pau Gasol, the list goes on. However, there are also plenty of big-name players who were supposed to play for the Lakers, but for some reason, it just didn't push through. Today we'll be playing a game of What If? Let's list some of the best superstars who could have played for the Lakers. Let's start with number 1, Chris Paul. Considering this happened not too long ago, this one still stings the most. Sure, CP3 did call Staples Center his home for 6 seasons, but it doesn't really count, does it? It's for the Clippers. Enough said. Let's reopen some old wounds, shall we? CP3 was on his way to La La Land back in 2011 as the New Orleans Hornets agreed to ship him to LA in what was supposed to be a 3-team deal. Now take the second to imagine Kobe Bryant playing alongside arguably the greatest point guard he's ever teamed up with. But it just wasn't meant to be. In an unprecedented turn of events, the late David Stern, may his soul rest in peace, decided to nix that deal. Now you may be asking yourself, why was he allowed to do that? Well, he was the league's commissioner at the time, and let's not forget, the NBA briefly owned the Hornets franchise back then. Chris Paul in purple and gold. Man, would have been something. Number 2, Kevin Garnett. The big ticket figured in a lot of epic battles against the Lakers throughout his storied career. Of course, we remember him most as the thorn in the side of the Lakers in the 2008 and 2010 finals as a member of the Celtics. But before he moved to Beantown, KG considered jumping ship from the cold winters in Minnesota to the sunny California weather. So why didn't it happen? Turns out it just came down to 2 missed calls. Appearing on the All the Smoke podcast with Stephen Jackson and Matt Barnes, Garnett revealed that he tried to call Kobe Bryant in the summer of 2007. He wanted to discuss the possibility of linking up and playing together. This is what he said. "I wanted to link with Kobe. I shouted at Kobe, he didn't pick the line up. T. Lou and Kobe were close and he said, shoot them again and see what he on. So I shouted again and he didn't get back, so I had to make a decision. Maybe Kobe Bryant was working on his game back then. He was too busy to pick up the phone. But take a second to imagine one of the most fiercely competitive power forwards ever teaming up with one of the most fiercely competitive guards ever. My goodness, that would have been a crazy pairing. Number 3, Charles Barkley. Before being the NBA on TNT host that we know and love, Sir Charles was one heck of a basketball player. Kids, ask your parents. He was really good. He played his prime years in Phoenix, where he even led the Suns to a finals appearance in 1993. But if only one Sixers executive did not experience cold feet, the round mound of rebound could have been one of the Lakers' all-time greatest players. As Barkley's tenure with the Sixers ran its course, he was briefly traded to the Lakers in 1992, so the trade actually already happened. But, and I quote, "The Sixers backed out. It was going crazy for 2 weeks, so I knew it would come down to Portland, the Lakers, or Phoenix," Barkley said in an interview in 2015. But as with other Barkley stories, this one has a hilarious ending. Barkley claimed he was drinking when he got the phone call and he had to play an NBA game drunk because he thought he would have been traded by then. Anyway, long story short, that trade didn't materialize. It may have been a stretch, but could you imagine Barkley and Shaq becoming teammates in Los Angeles? So there you have it. Which botched Lakers deal are you irked by the most?